First of all, hello, welcome everybody. As Hannah said, my name is Magda. Smith is my last name, and I would like to talk to you about the challenges, in my opinion, of the hybrid and face-to-face teaching in post-COVID education. Now, a few words about myself. Yes, I am a teacher, but I am fairly new to Australia, as I've been teaching here only since March 2022, as I couldn't enter the across the borders before. But I'm not new to teaching. I've been teaching since 2008 in England, Scotland, and Poland. My last job in Poland was with the British Council. And right now here in Australia, I work for the ILSC and Universal English College. In my career, I taught all age groups, which will be relevant at some point of this presentation, and also exam classes. And when it comes to my experience with Zoom and online teaching, I've been teaching online, fully online since May 2020. I love professional development projects, and I am CELTA qualified, TILECT. I'm collecting Australian diplomas as well. I'm also qualified as a teacher of Polish as a second language, and here in Australia, other than teaching, I also study as a student at Macquarie University, and I study Masters in Applied Linguistics and TESOL. Now to the core of my presentation. What happened in the past? So first of all, nobody expected COVID to hit us so hard. And now a few thoughts that I have about what happened and how it affected us all. So first of all, I'm not sure, probably in Australia, you're a little bit more familiar with online teaching. In Europe, it's not as popular. And most of my teaching, and by most, I mean 100% of it, before COVID was done face-to-face. And I used to work with paper books and notebooks and workbooks and worksheets and everything printed. And if there was a presentation, it was online, but it was just for the students to see where to go and what to do next. I'm a master at games. I love gamification. I love flashcards. I love working with the flashcards. And I work with flashcards with all age groups, kids and adults alike. And yes, it works and it can be done. And if you were lucky, then during your face-to-face teaching, you had a whole stack of board games and you could work with those as well. But then COVID happened and, well, they simply told us, well, now you're going to teach online, you're going to move online. And we were given 20-minute presentation about how to work with Zoom. And we were told, okay, so you start teaching tomorrow. And well, despite the fact that younger teachers, more computer savvy, well, they're kind of had skills to work with different online apps, we were baffled how to do it. We practiced, we called each other, we set up meetings, and still it was a problem. So what I was trying to think of, like, how difficult it would be for older generation of teachers, because I remember when I was trying to teach my parents how to use WhatsApp and what a struggle that was. So imagine just going online and working with teenagers for 3 hours on a Saturday morning and making sure that they would actually learn and enjoy the lesson. So the challenges that I identified which came with COVID and post-COVID, were pretty much the teaching platform. So whether to use Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams. And to this day, I cannot handle Microsoft Teams. I am not very familiar with Google Meet, despite the fact that I've been teaching as a volunteer for migrants in Poland, Polish language through Google Meet. And I still to this day make mistakes. And yeah, I think that Zoom was the best solution for me. But with Zoom came the need to buy new equipment. With new equipment come new expenses. And as you can imagine, maybe this was different in Australia, but we did not get any extra money. So some teachers were lucky and they got provided with the computers, but not everybody. And then what? So as I said, how to make lessons entertaining, how to make lessons engaging. Adults, well, they're when you're an adult and you join a language course, you know why you're there, you know why you're doing it. But when you're a kid, and as I said, it's a Saturday morning, you know, it's your parents who force you to do it. So how to make sure that the lesson is actually worthwhile, both for the teacher and the student. Now, I'm not sure, hopefully there will be a group of people who will agree with me, but when COVID ended, my main concern and my main problem after 2 years of being stuck in front of a computer was actually the fact that I had to leave the house. So no more pajama pants, no more waking up 15 minutes before the class and just, you know, opening the presentation and following on with my plan. I had to adjust to the new reality again. Then, of course, what happened? Something different, hybrid teaching. And before I move to hybrid teaching, I would like to show you a few of the online apps that I found extremely helpful in my work, and I would like to focus on one. So, as you can imagine, most commonly used tools are Quizlet, Kahoot, and quizzes. And I'm listing them in this order for one specific reason that will come very obvious in a few minutes. Now, but well, aside from these apps, in my work, I also use Duolingo, which, yes, can be controversial, but I tried it myself with a few languages that I just tried to see if it could be helpful. And yeah, there are ups and downs, but at some point for individual practice, it can work. Word Fun World, which is an app for kids. If you have students who prepare for Cambridge Starters, Movers, or Flyers exam, it's definitely a fun thing for them. Wordwall, as it was mentioned in one of the presentation before me. Jeopardy Labs, to this day, one of my favorite apps. Storyboard, lyrics training for all the music fans. iFake for teenagers and kids who, unfortunately, and to my deepest regret, cannot be unglued from the phone screen. And one of the more creative ones, in my opinion, Break Your Own News. But the one that I would like to talk about actually combines Quizlet, Kahoot, and quizzes. And this app is Blooket. I'm not sure if you've heard of Blooket, but as I said a second ago, it combines Kahoot, quizzes, and Quizlet. It's, in my opinion, it's a fun app, and it's quite useful. And why it's useful, you'll see in a second. I would like to guide you through it step by step. So if there is a teacher here who hasn't used it before or has problems adjusting to the new app, hopefully what I am going to present to you will be very helpful and will allow you to work with this app in the future. The best thing about this app is that it's free. It's completely free. You don't have to pay anything for it. And all you have to do is just sign up. So this is the front page, the website of Blooket. And what you got to do is you just go to, you click sign up, and you will see the sign. You sign up with Google, you sign up with your email. As I said, it's free. And within a few minutes, you will be a proud owner of the Blooket account. After every time you want to log in, you just log in, you use your username, your email, password, and we are moving to the fun part of the presentation. Now, when you log on to Blooket, you will see this page. As you can see, you can either create your own set or you can discover sets. As you can see, you can also have the tutorial. I opted out of the tutorial. I tried to explore it on my own, which I think was very productive. And I do not use the button Discover Sets because I go to this one. I click Discover, and as you can see, automatically you will see the games that you played the most often. And in my case, in the case of my groups, these are 4. So Name That Movie, Landmarks, NBA Teams, and Emoji Riddles. These games were chosen by my students because I have 4-hour lessons with the textbook, and I try to make sure that they have a moment of freedom to play and to explore. Now, when it comes to Blooket, as you can see, when you choose the game, this is what you will be facing. So you can either host it or you can play it solo if you wanted to test it on yourself first. So I always go with host. I click host, and this is the next page. As you can see, all of these are versions of Bluecat game for the landmarks that you can test and work with. When you click this, when you choose any of the game, you will see a short description on the right-hand corner. If you like it, play it. If you don't, move on to the next one. I don't want to present all of the games that you can see in here. I will just show you 3 that I play most often and focus on the one that my students enjoy most. So, one, the most classic one, Kahoot looking one, that's 1. 2, there's a race. And 3, my students' favorite one, and personally my favorite one, Battle Royale. Now, when you click on a game, and as you can see, this is the Kahoot Classic version 1, you will see this type of a screen with the question. Students answer, they've got time. And after that, you will see the percentage of the correct responses. And students will get points. You get less points than in Kahoot, which means that students are more likely to catch up. And with the Kahoot, the problem with Kahoot is that when there's a student who answers 3 questions correctly and another one who answers a few incorrectly, there's no way for them to catch up. This is not the case when it comes to Bluecat. The second one is the racing. The racing is individually paced, so it's like quizzes. And the game finishes when the first player crosses the finish line. So for the correct answers, you go forward. For the incorrect answers, you go back. So it is a race. And as I said, my favorite one, Battle Royale. So the cool thing about Battle Royale is that you can set up the number of lives for the students. 1, 3, 5, 7, or 10. I change this number depending on the amount of questions in the game. If there's like 10 or less, of course, I will go with 1 life. 15, 3, anything over 25. I've never used 7 or 10 because, in my opinion, I would have to go with like 35, 50 questions because, yes, you will find games like that. And in my opinion, it would take way too long and the students would get bored. So normally I wouldn't go over 25, but it is all up to you. So this is me. I signed up just to show you what happens. You click host now. This is the page that you will get with the link with the game ID number, and you log on, you choose your name, and which is really cool for the students, and yes, for adults as well, you choose your emoji. So you choose the animal that you want to be. There's a few, the list is long. There are a few locked ones as well. To this day, I did not figure out how to unlock those extra animals, but probably at some point I will. And then when all the students are logged in, you just click start and game on. Now, the cool thing about this Battle Royale thing is that you get the explanation of what to do and what happens. So you have all the steps explained, and students can read through them. They can ask you questions in the beginning, because usually when it's the first game, I always show them these steps so they can read, and when they have any doubts, they can ask me. And cool thing again, you can skip it. So you don't have to go through it every single time. You can just do it once, and pretty much this is enough. Now, as I showed you before, you will get the lineup of the students. You have the number of lives, and what happens when they play. They have to answer correctly, and they also have to be the fastest ones. So the faster student and the student who answered correctly will get the point, and then the game will continue. When the students lose lives, they will be eliminated. But the thing that I really, really, really like about this game is that it doesn't kick out the students. So they still continue playing. They will not be fighting for the top 3, but they do answer the questions and they do get the points. They just don't get the podium. And as you can see, last 3 students, they got the podium, and yeah, they love it. And as you can see, there's a button to play again. So if they like the game, if, for example, you created this game as a revision of grammar or vocabulary, and you believe that the students didn't get answers, correct answers as many times as you would like to, or you would believe that they should, you can always play again. And the final screen in my presentation is the list of all the apps and all the websites used in here, and a few extra ones. So that would be it. And I am very sorry if